A mysterious professor in New York slips two immigrant delivery brothers a strange map pointing to a forgotten underground city buried somewhere beneath the Arizona desert. But the map is wanted by a deadly organization and a faceless man in a black coat who can track them anywhere. Chapter 1: The Last Delivery. New York City had an odd silence that night. The streets of East Village glowed under flickering lampposts as though the city itself was whispering warnings. Raihan, a 25-year-old Bangladeshi immigrant working Uber Eats. A mysterious professor in New York slips two immigrant delivery brothers a strange map pointing to a forgotten underground city buried somewhere beneath the Arizona desert. But the map is wanted by a deadly organization and a faceless man in a black coat who can track them anywhere. Chapter 1: The Last Delivery. New York City had an odd silence that night. The streets of East Village glowed under flickering lampposts as though the city itself was whispering warnings. Raihan, a 25-year-old Bangladeshi immigrant working Uber Eats, parked his bike beside a tall, iron-gated building. His younger brother, Tamim, 22, tech-savvy and impulsive, tagged along for the night shift. The sign above them read, "The Arcanum Private Library." Tamim whispered, "Bro, a library? At 11 p.m.? This looks like the place where Netflix horror movies start." Inside, the place smelled of old parchment and cold air. No receptionist. No lights except a dim lamp deep inside a corridor. They walked toward the voice. Inside a small room stood an elderly man, thin, pale, with trembling hands. Later they would know him as Professor Alden Cross, an expert on ancient American civilizations. "Put the delivery on the desk, and leave at once," he muttered. Raihan asked softly, "Sir, are you okay?" Instead of answering, the professor shoved a sealed envelope into Raihan's hand. "Take it. Don't open it here. They're coming." "Who is coming?" Before they could process it,
Cold shiver ran down Raihan's spine. This wasn't a normal night. Something had begun. Chapter 2: The Shadow Map. Back at their small Brooklyn apartment, they placed the envelope on their table. "Open it," Tamim whispered. Inside was an ancient parchment, brownish, cracked, edged with burn marks. Not a normal map. Dark shadow-like strokes ran across it. Two locations marked in dark red ink. Words scratched at the bottom. "The Vault of Echoes, beneath the Forgotten City." Tamim tried to look up Forgotten City. Nothing on Google, but the map coordinates pointed to the Arizona desert. "Bro, this is basically a treasure map," Tamim said, eyes glowing. Before Raihan could respond, knock, knock, knock. At 1 a.m., Raihan slowly approached the peephole. The black-coated man, standing perfectly still under the hallway's dim light. "Give me the map," he said, without raising his voice. Raihan stepped back fast. "Tamim," he followed us. They grabbed the map and rushed out the fire exit, down 3 floors, across the alley. But the man spotted them and ran. Not human running. Something else. Raihan pushed his bike to full throttle. "Hold tight." The man chased them to the Brooklyn Bridge, sprinting like a machine. Finally, at the bridge midpoint, the figure faded into the distance. They stopped at a gas station, breathing hard, terrified. Tamim held the map tightly. Why did he chase us? Why give the map to us? Raihan stared at the horizon. "I don't know, but this won't stop. We have to leave New York. Arizona is where the clues point." Tamim blinked. "A coast-to-coast road trip? Across the USA?" Raihan nodded. "This map is bigger than us. If we stay here, we die." Chapter 3: Cross Final Message. At the gas station, Tamim scanned the map using his laptop. Suddenly, a hidden encrypted file appeared. A.Cross log 7. "Bro, the map has embedded data." They opened it. A shaky video of Professor Cross. "If you're watching this, it means they found me," Cross whispered. "Shadow Dominion, they want the map. The map leads to the underground vault, where lies the ocular engine. Static, a machine that can read memory, alter history, and awaken the forgotten city." From the background came loud crashes, heavy footsteps, Cross's panicked voice. "Run west. Find the gateway in Arizona." Before they. Video cut. Raihan looked at Tamim. "That settles it. We're going west." Tamim gave a shaky smile. That's it. A real USA road adventure. Chapter 4. Across the American Night. They left New York before dawn, passed Pennsylvania, stopped at a cheap Ohio motel. Inside the dim room, Raihan spread the map on the bed. The inked shadows on the parchment moved under the moonlight. Bro, this map is alive, Tamim whispered, before they could inspect further. Knock. Slow. Heavy. Raihan peeked through the curtain. No one at the door, but across the parking lot, under the yellow motel light, the tall, black-coated figure, just standing, motionless, watching. They turned off all lights and stayed quiet for an hour until the figure disappeared into the night. Chapter 5. The First Mark. The next morning, they reached the first red marking on the map, a forest area in Ohio called Raven Hills. What's a forest doing on a desert map? Tamim murmured. Inside the woods, they found a circular scorch mark on the ground. Metal scraps, symbols carved into a tree. Raihan picked up a small metal shard etched with Del T11, the same symbol they saw on the black-coated man's boot. Shadow Dominion was here, Raihan said. Suddenly, a thunder-like mechanical roar echoed through the forest. A drone, large, black, and strange, hovered above them, shining a beam of light. Run! Tamim yelled. They sprinted through the trees as the drone's spotlight tracked them. Branches snapped. Leaves tore. They reached a stone ridge, where a concealed metal hatch lay, partly buried. Raihan opened it, revealing a deep underground tunnel. The drone dipped sharply toward them. Go! Raihan shouted. They jumped inside. Darkness swallowed them. Inside, cold, ancient air whispered against their skin. Symbols carved on the tunnel walls read, "Beneath the raven lies the first key." Bro, we found a secret trail, Tamim said, before Raihan could answer. Footsteps. Slow. Metallic. The black-coated man, standing in the tunnel entrance. You took what is mine. How is he here? Tamim gasped. Raihan's answer. Run. The tunnel split. Left. Pitch dark. Right. Faint airflow. Right path equals escape. Left path equals the next clue. Raihan's hand hovered between both choices. He had to decide, life or truth. And part 1 ends here.
The Shadow Map. Part 2. To find the city buried in silence, they must outrun the man born of shadows. Chapter 6. The Left Path. Raihan had only a heartbeat to decide. Escape meant safety. The dark path meant answers. He grabbed Tamim's wrist. We go left. The darkness swallowed them instantly. Behind them, the black-coated man's footsteps echoed like metal striking stone. Tamim whispered, "He's gaining." Raihan spotted faint carvings on the wall, symbols that glowed when the shadowed lines on the map shifted in his pocket. The map was reacting. They sprinted forward until the tunnel opened into a chamber lit by natural blue crystals embedded in the walls. The crystals vibrated softly, almost like breathing. In the center lay a pedestal. On it rested a small stone object shaped like an eye. The first key. Tamim reached out, but the moment his fingers touched it, whoosh! The ground shook. The black-coated man appeared at the tunnel entrance. "You shouldn't have taken that," he said, voice colder than the air. Raihan grabbed the key and ran. A stone doorway behind the pedestal slid open as if the key triggered it. Inside, another tunnel. They dove into the darkness. The stone door slammed shut behind them. The man's hand slapped the stone from the other side, a chilling reminder that he was still there. Chapter 7. Into the Midwest. The hidden tunnel eventually exited near an abandoned service road outside Raven Hills. Their bike was still concealed where they had left it. Tamim looked back at the woods. So that man, he's not stopping, is he? Raihan tightened his grip on the handlebars. No, which means we move fast. They rolled west, through Indiana, across the wide farmlands of Illinois, into Missouri. Every few hours they checked the map. The shadow lines kept shifting toward a single destination, Arizona. But in Kansas, while stopping for fuel, something happened. Raihan saw him again. The black-coated figure standing across the highway under the blazing sun as if the heat didn't affect him. Tamim froze. How does he keep finding us? Raihan realized something horrible. He's tracking the map's energy. Tamim's face drained of color. So the map itself is like a beacon? Yes. They roared back onto the road, riding at full speed. The man didn't chase them physically this time. He simply watched, as if he knew they couldn't escape for long.
Chapter 8. The Desert Gate. 3 days later, they reached the barren outskirts of Arizona. Red sand, cracked earth, mountains shaped like broken teeth. At the map's center was the final red X, a point labeled the Gateway of Silence. They parked the bike near a canyon ridge. The wind blew sand across the ground, revealing markings, symbols identical to those in the Ohio Tunnel. Tamim knelt and brushed the sand aside. "Bro, it's a door." Below them was a massive, ancient stone circle. In its center was an indentation shaped exactly like the first key. Raihan pressed the key in. Boom! The stone circle split open, revealing a spiraling staircase descending into the earth. A cold wind blew upward. It smelled of dust and time. Tamim whispered, "Is this the forgotten city?" Raihan nodded. "We go." They descended.